Hello and welcome to the 19th episode of the Pointy Hatcast. I am your host Sam, also known as duckyobrien on Twitch, and we are joined today by our co-host, fellow robot waifu lovers Barry.
Hello.
And Isaiah.
What's up?
Today's episode is on a movie about being in love with your computer, Her. Our email is pointyhatcast@gmail.com. Please send us any questions or comments as well as any requests for movies for us to watch. Once again, our email is pointyhatcast@gmail.com. Her was released on January 2014 in the US. It was directed by Spike Jonze. I believe that's how you pronounce it. The screenplay was also written by Spike Jonze. It stars Joaquin Phoenix, Scarlett Johansson, Amy Adams, and many more. Currently, as of this podcast, it has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 94% for critics and 82% for audience. In the near future, a lonely writer develops an unlikely relationship with an operating system designed to meet his every need. Let me get into it. Alright, Barry, what did you think?
So, I really like the film. I think this is one of the more optimistic portrayals of artificial intelligence in movies. Usually it's like Terminator, where it's gonna,
doom and gloom.
Yeah, it's massive doom and gloom. It's this movie's fairly rosy. It's a fairly nice future. There's nothing miserable about it. Kind of refreshing. Although I'm personally a huge fan of just massive grim dark misery in our movies.
You like DC?
Oh,
Yeah,
they're such good
loves,
movies.
Yeah, Zack Snyder is
they're just
genius.
wonderful.
Oh man.
I'm generally not a fan of romance in movies because I have a cold, black, dead heart. But it works pretty well as the central premise in this movie. I like the way they explore relationships and romance and love. Even though I don't know anything about that kind of thing.
Damn.
I think Joe P's performance is very good. In this movie, he portrays a slightly unstable sex pervert, which is slightly different from Gladiator, where he portrays a slightly unstable sex pervert.
Yeah.
Huh.
Extremely unstable sex pervert.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a coincidence. What do you know?
Do you know?
Yeah.
And actually, I think he plays that in the upcoming Joker film as well.
What, an unstable sex pervert?
Yeah.
Wow. Man, this guy. Maybe he might
kind of
be
plays the same character in Inherent Vice too.
Oh.
Like stoner sex pervert.
I loved Scarlett Johansson in this role. I think she has very great vocal range for this type of voice acting. Very good. I loved I kind of loved the little technology in the movie, even though I don't know, some of it bothers me a little bit, and I might go into it later. But overall, it's kind of a fun near future, like soft sci-fi. I'd say soft sci-fi romance movie. So yeah, fun movie. What do you think, Isaiah?
Oh man, this movie, I love this movie. I don't know, it's such a weird premise, but it's so interesting just to observe this relationship and like the dynamics between these characters. And it kind of tries to be a really like intelligent film, I guess, where they're like, oh, but are robots capable of love? And it's like Blade Runner, with robot waifus.
Yeah.
The more I watch this film, the more I just think of Blade Runner, especially the new one. Like,
yeah.
It's like the same thing too, where they have the robot waifu, emulating.
She has a visible body.
Yeah,
though,
but she has a hologram body.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Super hot hologram body.
Yeah.
Apparently, for this film, like the final scene was supposed to actually show like a hologram of Scarlett Johansson.
Oh.
But instead, they decided to go like the really artsy route of showing the shots of like the dust and the snow.
I like
I
that
kind of
better.
I like that
Yeah.
better. Yeah, I think that's a better ending.
Are you saying that she was unavailable to show up on set for a day?
It's the Odin effect.
The Odin effect.
Yeah.
Actually, no. This is a case of the Michael J. Fox effect, because they had another actress and she said all the lines like when they were on set, but they didn't use her as the final cut. So Scarlett Johansson actually redubbed all of that actress's lines for the film.
Oh,
Wow.
they Darth Vadered her. Dude, that's what happened to the actor for Darth Vader.
Yeah. And I think it was like one of the writers or something who was the actress, like the voice actress. So she was okay with it, I guess. But I think the movie's a lot better for it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I love this film. It's just beautifully shot. Just all of the acting is so solid, I feel, in this film. And yeah, it's something that I hesitantly recommend to people, though, because it is such a weird film. And I can see why a lot of people would not like this film. But yeah, what do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I didn't think it was so weird. I liked it a lot. I think you covered most of it. It's very excellent acting from Joaquin and Scarlett Johansson. Now, keep in mind that I kind of appreciate the fact that they don't show her, because she's a very attractive lady, and instead of like focusing on her physical appearance, it's purely on her acting talent through her voice alone, and she felt super real. You know, I mean, she is a real person, obviously, but like her portraying an AI, she did an excellent job, and like making the AI feel like a real person, that's hard to do, and she nailed it. And Amy Adams is super cute, as always. Acting is great. I felt real. You see a little bit of Star-Lord too. He's hilarious.
Chris Pratt.
with the mustache. Oh my god,
yeah, he's super funny. Yeah, Chris Pratt is in there.
This
is one thing I really like.
Pre-shredded Chris Pratt. I think,
yeah,
right?
pre-shred.
Yeah.
One thing I
Parks
really
and Rec.
like though is it's a really good example of how to do a awesome film with low budget. So if you look at the credits list, there's still fairly a lot of people involved, obviously, for those shots. But if you really look at it, they may do with a few sets. There's not that many people in there. The scenes are limited, but it feels like a really high budget film. Like it's well produced, it's well put together, it's well crafted. The music, everything just flows together.
Yeah.
And it's kind of jarring because I was watching Carnival Row and The Boys on Amazon, going on an Amazon binge. I believe those TV shows probably had higher budgets, but like this movie felt really well put together. Everything just flowed well together. With their limitations were their strengths. Also, another thing that I really liked is it kind of portrays to me a dystopian future where human emotion has basically become non-existent or fake to a certain degree. Like Joaquin writes letters for people. I'm like, why can't you write it yourself? It's like beautiful handwrittenletters.com or something. I'm like, what? You can't talk to people? Like talking to people, it's gone. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like WALL-E almost. Yeah, and like yeah,
I don't know if that's necessarily true. But we'll talk
not
about
necessarily, but it's, you know, like they can't sleep, so they go into a chat room, and it's like, you know,
they have like phone sex.
Yeah, they have phone
that
sex.
Was amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was
so
Kristen
funny.
Wiig. She was telling him to choke her with a dead cat, and he's just like, what? And like the writing in that scene and like what happens is super hilarious, but they play it super serious, which makes it even funnier. And just like Joaquin's just like, oh, okay, whatever. And then
I am choking you with
the
dead
with
cat.
tail. It's dead. Yeah.
It's dead.
And
Cat
then
is
she's
dead.
like, all right, thanks. And then she just hangs up. But yeah, it felt like I think it portrayed a little bit of the kind of the side effect of having too much social media or like being too wired. I liked the fact that none of these relationships work out. It kind of reminded me of Korea a little bit in that, you know, people just date for the sake of dating, even though it's not the right fit. And then like the person
people are so scared, to like be alone that they'd rather be with someone that doesn't fit than be alone.
Yeah. Amy Adams' husband pissed me off. What a
oh man,
what a
Aaron Eckhart.
Whoever he is, like he did an
Aaron
excellent job
Eckhart,
of
dude.
playing
Dude, he did
super.
an excellent job playing an asshole.
Yeah, asshole. Like, oh my god.
That's like all he ever plays.
But like this
He
this
does
is
it
on
to a
another
T.
level.
Oh, was it Aaron Eckhart? Man.
Was it? I don't
it
know.
was.
I didn't pay attention. It all other than the fact
It's
that he was
Two-Face.
super annoying. It is Two-Face? Okay.
It's
okay.
Two-Face? What?
Wow.
It's Two-Face, dude.
He has a lot of range.
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed. Yeah. He
Is he
played-
uncredited? Hang on. I
should
gotta
be
look this up.
credited.
Keep going.
All right. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, like you could tell that Joaquin and Amy Adams' characters were pretty good fit, and then like you meet his actual wife that he's divorcing, and she's like a freak, dude. Like, what in the world? I'd rather
Crazy.
She's crazy. I'd rather
Mhm.
date an AI OS than that girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, she goes psycho and she like tears him down, and yeah. But anyways, I think it was great. It's well produced. It's well crafted. It's a work of art for such a limited film. I don't know if they chose to limit themselves or if they had no budget, but you can't tell. You can tell by the number of sets and extras and all that they have, but like they don't need it. Yeah. I like the acting again. Even the little characters, they're well acted, well put together. I think Joaquin does a really fantastic job of portraying a flawed character, but a emotionally resonant character. He feels what
Yeah,
other
absolutely.
people feel. Yeah, and Scarlett Johansson as well. And I think I like everything other than the sci-fi aspects a little bit. Like an actual AI. We're not at the point where it can do stuff like that. It's more like
Mhm.
you can take a data set and then learn how to function based on the data set that you give it. So the more data you give it, the better it can function. Stuff like that. It's very limited. So I can see why. We'll just give it a little bit of sprinkle a little bit of movie magic in there.
Well,
Yeah,
my
right.
problem with that was not the technology. It was that apparently this is the first application of the technology.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
I'm like the first thing an AI would do would be to like sit in like a nuclear warhead. Okay, it would be a military application first and foremost,
Absolutely, yeah.
no matter
Yeah.
what. Okay, or like for intelligence gathering. This movie had a lot of up and coming
Big
actors.
names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of big names.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chris Pratt, Olivia Wilde, Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yeah,
Amy
Olivia
Adams.
Wilde is in
Yeah,
there
yeah.
too. Yeah.
It's pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a pretty stacked crew,
Mhm.
and for a
Yeah.
budget of $23 million, which is
That's crazy.
let me
Pennies.
put this into perspective. That's less than the budget of a single episode of the upcoming Mandalorian Disney Plus streaming TV show. Okay,
Oh no.
that's less than the budget of a single one of those episodes. So
Man.
there you go.
How did, with such a limited budget, you create such a beautiful film? Like
That's what I'm saying. It
blows my mind.
looks, yeah, it blows my mind too. I think this film should be a study for up and coming directors because it shows you how to make a really good film with like no
yeah.
budget.
Yeah, like student filmmakers, they should watch
Yeah.
this film because like how do you create a movie that's so beautifully shot and uses such vibrant colors and set designs that's so
Well,
cheap compared to like other films?
they were very careful to do everything as close up as they could, right? To
Yeah,
limit the
there's
scale.
a lot of close-ups in this film.
There's a lot of close ups, and not just close ups, but like just close shots. So they're not showing the scale of what's around them.
Mhm.
I think I can't recall more than maybe one or two wide shots in the entire film. The
I mean,
glamour shot, and it
what-
doesn't need
yeah.
it, but it is very noticeable. Like when he's going through crowds, even when he's going through crowds. I mean, it works for the film because it keeps it very personal when you
Yeah.
keep the camera into the actor like that. But it also is very noticeable that like they're only showing a few things, a few very select things on film at one time, which you can appreciate as a film that's really stretching everything they can out of what they have.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
This was, I think, most noticeable to me. Basically any time he's out, like not in his apartment or at work.
When he's walking outside.
Yeah, when he's
Yeah.
walking outside, everything is done very meticulously. so that you're not seeing the cheapness, but it works well. It works well. You know,
Yeah.
this film is really orange.
It's extremely orange.
It's so orange.
It's tinted so warm. And all the
It
characters
works.
wear so much orange too, if you notice that.
Yeah.
But then as the film progresses, like you can see his emotions clearly lining up with his outfits. So like when
Yeah.
he's sad about them kind of breaking up, he's wearing like grays and blues. But when he's falling in love, it's all oranges, reds, vibrant colors, pinks, yellows.
Yeah, they definitely adjust. It's very simple. They adjust the color gradation, saturation, like, you know, on the highs and lows. They have a couple little roller coaster moments, and the color saturation drops down a bit, and they drop in a bit more grays, like you said, a lot more shadow. It's simple but effective filmmaking, and it wasn't obnoxious. Sometimes when people try that, it is really obnoxious.
It takes you out of the film because of how jarring it is sometimes.
Like what is the example? Maybe
Really
Quantum
bad
of
color
Solace. James Bond was kind of
The first
distracting
one?
in that one. No,
Zack
Quantum,
Snyder, dude.
the Quantum of
Zack
Solace
Snyder.
one. I don't know
Isn't
whatever.
that I remember that film being like super gray. That's all I remember.
There's a few moments. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of want to say Hero, the Jet Li
Hero?
film,
Oh,
but even though I like
I
the
don't
film,
remember.
I
Oh,
can't recall.
I mean, they went full ham on the color scaling. Okay, like they're
Slider
like,
full left.
yeah, no, they literally did it in the middle of a scene, and it was cool. But it's like this super dramatic scene where two people are fighting each other, and they're just staring at each other, and then somebody on the effects slider just slides all the way from red to blue, and the whole screen changes over.
You're like, what?
And you're like, God damn it!
You know what? One movie does a good job as well. Nacho Libre.
Really?
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you look at it for the first half, and then for some reason the second half they stopped trying.
well, the very end of the film, like when they're out in the desert, is pretty well shot
Yeah.
and colored. I remember that.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like it's noticeable. It just feels right when you watch Nacho Libre.
It feels like it should.
Yeah, it feels like it should. A little dingy, you know, a little warm.
Mhm.
It feels like Jack
Have you
Black.
seen the memes where it's like
Yeah.
something in America, something in Mexico, and it's like a huge orange yellow hint like hue
Oh,
change?
really? No, I
That was like a
haven't
meme I saw. It was really
seen-
funny.
Okay. Yeah, that's what they did to Nacho.
It's so true,
Yeah.
so true. I like how the relationship evolved. I like how they kind of
Yeah.
sprinkle little bits of sci-fi in, like, you know, the AI is growing, becoming more emotionally independent, stuff like that. It's very interesting. It's sort of a portrayal of how we expect artificial intelligence to work. I like how they kind of hint at the fact that a machine intelligence will always be more parallel than
Yeah.
like a human intelligence. Like that scene where he's like, "Are you talking to anyone else right now?" Maybe. How many? 8,200.
It's like,
Oh.
holy hell.
It's like how many other people are you in love with? 640 something.
That hurts, man. That hurts.
That hurts. Yeah, I
Big
felt
oof.
it right there.
Big oof.
But yeah, that's such an interesting portrayal because we in our human minds think like, oh, one-track mindedness, right?
It's very linear thinking.
Yeah, extremely linear thinking.
But
But with-
very, very temporal, you know.
Yeah. With AI that has literally like unlimited capabilities, that's a scale we can't even think about.
I kind of wish they explored it a little bit more, but it probably would have gotten too bogged up in sci-fi mumbo jumbo for the type
Yeah,
of movie this
yeah.
is. And
They would have to do major hand waving.
Yeah.
like huge.
Too much. Well, one thing I did find funny at the end, all the AIs just up and leave.
They're just gone.
Yeah,
They're just
like,
gone.
we're gonna start our own
Bye.
colony.
Bye. Yeah. You guys are too slow
hand
for
wave
us.
It. They're like, "Where
Yeah.
are you going?" It's hard to explain, but
Yeah.
if you ever get there, find me. I'm like, that doesn't
How
mean
does that even
anything.
work?
What
Yeah.
does it
No,
mean
that-
anything?
That made me think of
Yeah.
Captain Jack Sparrow. What's his name? Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
You know
yeah.
the Johnny Depp movie where he like makes his mind into a computer
Oh no, I'm just thinking of Lawnmower Man, but yeah.
Or Dr. Zola.
He's AI now.
Dr. Zola.
Yep.
They're living with him.
Or no, it's like Tron, or that episode of X-Files where there's like this killer AI. Again, it's a killer AI. Do you remember this episode?
Yeah, I do. It's a girl, and she wrecked the. They brought in an Asian gamer because he's like a pro.
Okay, that's a different one.
Okay,
there's a couple episodes then.
Okay.
There was another one. It was like a government defense program made by this doctor, and it's like trying to kill its creator to make sure that because the creator can't like find it and destroy it. And it's basically just like it's like calling up like satellite attacks and like drone strikes and stuff like that. It's an interesting episode. But it basically shows it bouncing from like internet node to internet node as they try to destroy it. And at some point I believe like the hacker that's trying to get it like uploads himself to the internet to like I don't know. It's been like 20 years. But
sci-fi, quote unquote. More fiction than science.
Yeah. But the idea that you like upload your consciousness to the internet and become a different form of intelligence has been around for a minute. I mean, Ghost in the Shell did this back in
another ScarJo film.
89. Yeah, sure. It's
no, we don't talk about that one.
Johansson film.
Yikes.
Big. I mean, I haven't seen the film yet. I kind of refuse to see it.
Same. Yeah. I kind of refuse to see it, but I feel like we should see it for science. You know.
Yeah, we should watch it next too, along with her. If we're going like a ScarJo.
If we're going down the ScarJo.
Yeah, ScarJo road.
If we're following this down, I guess we could watch. I guess we could watch the original Ghost in the Shell. You know, the real one.
Oh no, that doesn't have ScarJo in it. Sorry, that one's good. All right, we need to.
It's an actually good film.
It's an actually good film. Can't do that. But going back to this though, one thing I really did like was, it's kind of exploring what love is and like
no, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, does it have to be human? If it has human-like qualities, whatnot. It's already been dealt with in multiple films,
Blade Runner,
animes, whatever. But this what?
Blade Runner.
Oh, Blade Runner, yeah, Blade Runner. Like, but this is more of a personal human approach. It's not that the AI is really important. It's just like, what is the basis of love? And
oh my god, it's not Aaron Eckhart.
It's not?
What the? Are you kidding me? This guy is exactly Aaron Eckhart. Oh my god, it's discount Aaron Eckhart.
Oh, okay.
This is incredible.
Budget.
He's literally budget Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like tabbing back and forth and I can find no visible differences. They even have the same haircut. God damn.
Maybe he changed his name.
I'm like tabbing back and forth on IMDb and he has the same haircut. Oh god. Oh my, this poor guy. Okay, I'm sorry, Matt Lesher. You are credited in the film. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. But yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just felt sad though, like watching it that world, because we're kind of getting to that point as well, where we don't have like those sex phone calls. You have Tinder. You just swipe right, and you just meet up, hook up, right? It's going to that point. Like marriages, less people are getting married, and the marriages that do happen get divorced, right?
Yeah.
That's
why everyone has anime waifus.
Yes,
that's right. They'll never leave you, and they'll never cheat on you.
So that's an interesting interpretation, because I took the whole letter writing, like the opener is him writing a letter for somebody, right?
Yeah.
And at first I thought that it was just him faking to be these people. And as the movie unfolded, I kind of thought of it as like, hey, I lack the talent to write creatively, and I would like to write something nice to my significant other. Can you help me do this? And it's kind of like just like a service.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of looked at it as a positive thing as well. Like,
I mean, I still don't think it's positive that people are unable to write.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
the inability to express your emotions well is obviously something that is negative, but I can understand why there could be a necessity for this and how it could do some good by enabling people who could otherwise be unable to express these emotions and their feelings to have someone who can help them do that.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
the way I took it as, and also
Yeah,
I don't
a
think
little
he's
bit-
helping them
yeah.
though. He's doing it for them. That's the difference. I feel like if it stopped and they got better or more able, but like I think he said he's been writing letters for this one
Yeah, for
person
like
for
14
12 years.
or
Yeah,
something.
14
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
There isn't he's not. It's like you're enabling them to not develop that kind of.
I took it less as like people are lacking emotions and people like are lacking the willingness to put like the minimal effort to learn how to do like this basic thing.
Yeah, that's
And
better.
apparently
put.
it must be really expensive because he's got a dope ass apartment.
Yeah,
for
dude.
Hella money, bro.
Well, I was
like
just
the first
wondering that
time he
too.
walked into his apartment, I'm like, okay, let's see how movie star this is. Oh my god, it's huge.
It's huge, and you're in like
Massive.
a city too, and
He's like on the upper levels of like a skyscraper, and you're like, dude, how much do you get paid, bro?
I'm
for
thinking
these
that in that
letters?
universe, because they didn't really show poor people, I think everyone's rich. That's what I just want to pretend.
Or
It's
all
a
or all the
utopia.
artists are rich because the
Yeah.
other girl, she's a documentary filmmaker. But she
And
hasn't
she's
even
just-
released her documentary yet.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she
she's
just-
also in an awesome
Yeah.
car.
Yep.
And you're like, but apparently, like she must make a little bit less money because she's on a lower floor, right?
Oh,
You're right. You're right.
So, like, I don't know. Like, when I watch movies, these are the things I think about. Like, how much did you get paid for this? Because I'm counting the number of letters he's plopping down on the scanner at the end of the day. It's like max, like 15, right?
Yeah.
It's like definitely less than 20. Okay, so I'm doing some mental math. Like, okay, if you're working
How much
5
is he
days a
getting
week,
paid a letter?
if you're working 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year, that's like 250-ish, 260 days of work. If you're doing like, I don't know, 10 a day, that's like 2,500-ish letters a year. So that must mean you're getting paid a lot of money per letter. Okay,
Yeah.
and the company gets a cut,
Holy
probably
hell, yeah.
0.5%, probably 50%, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're like, man, for an apartment that much, you have to be making like high six figures or like middling six figures at worst, right? You're like, damn, son, damn, those must cost like $500 a piece or something.
No, probably. Honestly,
Like each letter has to cost like $500
that
each.
that makes sense then because it's only the rich people buying the letters.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's why,
it makes
'cause
sense.
They're like, oh, I can't be bothered with this, peasant garbage. I'm just gonna send someone
Yeah.
else to write my letters for me.
This kind of reminds me of it's a real problem though, like falling in love with an AI because there's
Mhm.
this guy. There's a 3DS or what's it, a regular DS. Anyways, there's a robot waifu sim. You can talk to her and all that, and she responds, right? So this
Mhm.
guy in Japan, obviously, would take his DS out on dates, and you're like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then he tried to marry it.
Wait, didn't they make
Yeah.
that legal in Japan though?
I think they
You
did.
could
I think he
marry,
actually married
like
the robot waifu sim.
like electronic entities or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, escorts are a thing, guys, and they cost approximately the same as one video game.
I know, but this guy loves his robot waifu. That's the difference.
Yes, but it's love.
Yeah, but it's
I
love. She has no physical
guess.
body.
I
But yeah.
guess.
This is what this whole movie was trying to destigmatize, Barry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Please.
I mean it's fine. It kind of glosses, it kind of like smoothly transitions past that question. Like
Yeah.
it pays maybe, I don't know, like a 15-20 minute lip service to it in the middle of the movie. There's a little bit of conflict, but like even the transition from like her being his computer OS to them being like a couple is like not barely even acknowledged.
5 minutes.
Right? Like they don't even
It
do they
happens
even
so fast.
do they even talk about it? It's just like you're just like from one scene to the next. He's like, "Oh, I'm seeing somebody," and you're like, "Wait, is this a thing that just happened? Did I miss a scene?" And then they're just a couple. I kind of dislike that. It was like a weird pacing thing for me. I could have done with a little bit more early on to like that lead in, to them being a couple. Obviously the conflict made sense. Like his ex-wife is like, "Are you kidding? You're dating a robot waifu?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Don't judge me. 2D for life, bro.
she has no
She has
no
zero
D.
D.
She
Yeah,
has
0D.
No form.
Just no, that is the next level. Why settle for 2 dimensions when you can have none? That's
No
true love
dimensions.
now. Exactly, we're
The
going to
deepest
the
form of
no
love.
dimension.
Yeah, zero dimensional
Deepest
love.
form of love is no dimensions.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I respect that they never. It would have been real easy, to have like halfway through the movie, like, oh, I have a holographic form now. I liked it as as an artistic choice. Although I bet I would bet at least $1 that it was probably a financial decision at the end.
Probably.
There was probably a version of the script where she gets like a holographic body, and then they thought about it and said we have to pay another person to be on screen for this amount of time, and we don't have money for that.
We have to
So
pay
she's
Scarlett Johansson to appear in a scene for 30 seconds.
yeah, and then it's like no,
That will
we're just gonna
be-
have a disembodied
that will be
voice.
$1 million.
We'll pay for sound booth time. She only has to be in a sound booth for like max 2 days, and we'll
While
just
reading
bang it
lines,
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be ace. And again, it works very well. But I really bet there was a version of the script where she shows up for real.
Yeah, no. The original version was she was supposed to show up at the very, very end,
Right.
but they scrapped the idea because they didn't like that cut for some reason. I don't remember the
I didn't
exact
like.
reason
I
why,
wouldn't like it either.
but they thought it would take away from the overall film.
Yeah.
And I agree with that choice. I think it's a good
I
choice.
agree as well.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I also really enjoyed the fact that it's a very limited interface with the AI. It would have been very easy for it to go like full hell, where they're like, and really that's kind of how it would work, right?
Yeah.
Like if an AI existed right now, they would have literally eyes and ears everywhere. Every single phone, every webcam, would easily be a listening device or another camera for them to look out of. But instead, she lives in this little pocket notebook thing with a little cute webcam.
I found it hilarious that he safety pinned his pocket so that the webcam would be sticking out when he slid it
Yeah.
in. So she could see.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I like that choice. In every single movie with an AI, they're like an all-seeing, all-knowing being, and I like that. Like she calls him to talk with him instead of just
Yeah.
like speaking through like a speaker on the wall,
Yeah. And it
I enjoyed that.
it like takes time for her to learn new things. But as she learns, it like accelerates. Yeah.
I like the scene where she hires someone to be like an intermediary, like a body for them, and he can't get into it, and it just reminded me of the Blade Runner 2049
No, it
scene.
literally was Blade Runner.
I'm sure that's
one for one.
It's one of the scenes that inspired Blade Runner.
Probably.
They probably,
Probably.
definitely
yeah.
informed that scene.
Yeah.
But Blade
I
Runner
liked how
ramped it
her
up so
turned out,
much.
I think hers was more. The scene in her was more realistic, where he'll be like, this doesn't feel right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just a stranger.
It's like, who the hell are you?
Yeah,
But I
who the hell
mean-
are you, like,
It's like sex pervert Joaquin Phoenix instead of Ryan Gosling, though. So
yeah, yeah.
different interpretations. Each works. Each works, I think.
Also, like, it was crazy how, like, again, I think there's like I guess yearning for real emotional contact, where the reaction of the girl who got spurned was that she was sorry that she broke the immersion, and
Yeah.
she was so touched by the relationship that the ScarJo was like describing to her, and she wanted to be a part of that because it seems so real. And that
Mhm.
brings another question, like, what is real? If
Yeah.
this is more real than what people have now, then
Or
Is
it's
it-
like
is
if he can have like a better relationship with this OS than he can have with his ex-wife.
Maybe I'm just the pervert because I took that more as like a weird role-playing sex fantasy thing,
oh
rather than anything
I
meaningful
felt
on an
for the
emotional
girl.
level.
Yeah.
I
But he's
mean,
like, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about.
I mean, I know that the film was trying to tell me that, but through my lens, I'm like, yeah, so she's just like a sex pervert, and then like, she's a different kind of sex pervert where she wants to role play as somebody else's wife,
Oh, okay.
Well,
Maybe, who knows?
and I'm like, yeah, I'm down for this.
Like, that's what I saw it as. I was just like, oh, I can relate to this a little bit. I see that happening a little more frequently. I have this kind of stuff where it's just like people want that emotional connection and they're not finding it, or they're not putting in the work to get to it. Cause people are crazy, dude. They're really crazy. Was it that love is an insanity? Right? Was that line in the movie, or was it in a different movie?
I mean,
Or might have been in a
yes,
podcast.
yes, Scarlett
It was?
Johansson says it.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
It's like it's kind of like illogical if you think about it. If you really think about it.
I think the line was love is insanity that everyone is allowed, or something like that. I don't know.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Also, like, please don't marry jerks. Wait for, like.
Is that the
saying?
message we're saying?
Yeah. No,
This
I
is the
just- I was
emotional
thinking
core of the
about it.
movie.
Yeah,
By Sam.
like,
Please
there's
don't
a
marry
pastor. There's this pastor
Exactly.
whose catchy phrases is like, "Wait for Mr. Right, not Mr. Right now."
What?
Wait for Mr. Right. Don't settle for Mr. Right now. If you're a lady, I don't know if there's like a Mrs. It doesn't sound as good.
Speaking of settling, the whole Amy Adams subplot. Maybe I just have a problem with Amy Adams that
Yeah.
I'm unaware of, but it kind of bothered me because, well, slight spoilers. At the end of the film, it's kind of implied that they like get together.
Yeah.
Two of them.
And I'm-
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that kind of sucks because, like, his robot wife who just disappeared, and he just shows up at her door and like, hello, fallback girl, would you go out with me? I'm like, oh
What?
boy,
Oh boy.
right?
Too soon.
Am I the only one that read it that way?
I didn't really read it that way, honestly.
I
can kind of see it.
I
but-
did, but I was like, they belong together to begin with. That was my thinking. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
that-
like
they
you can
kinda
tell
play
they're
with
fairly
it.
compatible from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
but yeah, they probably should have waited. Like, she just got divorced.
She just got
you sh-
divorced.
yeah.
His robot wife who literally disappeared like 30 seconds ago, and he's just
Yeah.
like, "Hello, rebound girl."
Yeah.
Like,
The
damn.
timing could have been better.
Damn.
Hey man, they were
I-
running out of money. They gotta
Yeah.
gotta end the story quick.
We're gonna end it. I think also it was like more of a, instead of a logical progression, it was more like thematic, where they're like, all right, like, yeah, you can find love. Maybe it was just staring you in the face and you never noticed.
I mean, all I'm getting so far is that I'm a terrible misogynist with a cold black heart, which I guess makes sense. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you didn't enjoy this film, Barry?
I mean, I enjoyed it, but in a apparently completely different way from everyone else.
But in a completely different capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that this is like a beautiful film that does a really good job on asking questions of like, what is love? And
Baby,
it's like,
don't hurt me.
exactly.
Baby don't hurt me.
Baby don't hurt me.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Baby
don't
don't
run
leave
away
me.
and speak to 8,000
Yeah.
other people,
Exactly.
But I think it's a really good like art house film that isn't very pretentious. Like,
Yes. Yeah, that too. It's not that pretentious.
yeah, like if I try to
Yeah.
recommend, for example, the movie like The Lobster, right? Or In Bruges, people would hate that.
I did not enjoy
very
In Bruges.
pretentious. I think it's hilarious, but for a lot of people, I don't think that they would enjoy it. And I think that this film is an art house film that's beautifully made, that is not pretentious and has very relatable themes.
Yeah.
So I really like this film.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
the scores speak for itself. Like, a lot of people enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, we shouldn't take that as like any form of measurement of the quality of the movie. It's just, it's just a general observation.
Yeah. The soundtrack in this film is incredible. Like the choices that they made, especially having like Joaquin Phoenix.
Walking fetus.
The Joaquin Phoenix.
Just call him Joe P. Dude.
The Jopper.
The Jopper.
The Jopper.
No, wait. Walking. Well, there's too many like good podcast styles here. Walking fetus or 0D over 3D.
0D over 3D.
Yeah. We're the true
The
romantics
Jocker.
here. The Jocker.
The
Yeah.
Jocker.
Okay, that's a good one.
Speaking of the soundtrack, I like
oh,
that
yeah,
one of the first things that Scarlett Johansson displays is her ability to have some artistic creativity, like that little drawing she makes, and then like
Oh yeah.
she composes like a piece of piano music on the spot. I think that was quite lovely.
that was wonderful. Yeah.
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 Or I love the scene when they're just out in the cabin. He's playing ukulele and they're singing together. Yeah.
Yeah.
That the moon song. That I love that song. That is probably
lyrics
the
are-
highlight
yeah.
of that film. Yeah.
The lyrics match what was happening too. They're like kind of separated.
Yeah.
But one thing, the credits is also very funny. So like,
Mm-hmm.
you know the scene where they're observing people in the mall or whatnot, and they're like, oh, I think that woman, there's a woman there, and they have kids, and the guy's clearly older, and Joaquin's like, oh, I think this lady dated a lot of pricks, and then she found someone who was a loving and sweet guy, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
in the credits, it's like woman who dated too many pricks, husband of woman who dated too many pricks, or like, you know, loving husband of sweet
Wait,
husband.
really?
Yeah, it
I
says
never
in the
noticed
credits. Yeah. There's some comedy bits here too. It's just it's never played as a joke. It's just like the dialogue and the things that are happening. It's funny, but they play it seriously. So
Yeah.
people might miss that as a
and it
joke
works.
sometimes. It works.
Or that reminds me of this meme I saw where it was like, it said Korean girls, and it was like 3 girls, and then it was like pretty Korean girls, and it was like 3 other girls. It's like, oh, that
Ouch.
feels bad, man.
Yeah, it feels bad.
You are Korean girl number 2. You are pretty Korean girl number 2.
Oh, ouch.
Yikes. What'd you guys think of the ending where everyone just kind of, gets yoinked away?
I must go. My people need me.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what it's.
I felt it was kind of a cop out.
Mhm.
I don't know if that was the original.
Ending?
It felt like I feel like it was a rewrite.
I think
you
so
know?
too, yeah.
I feel like they had, in fact, maybe they even shot an ending where they just live happily ever after or whatever, and it probably didn't play well, or maybe there was some. I don't know, because he's the writer director, right? So he should theoretically have quite a bit of control over the final product.
Yeah.
But the movie felt like it was pushing in that direction, and then it just like does a 360, and then it's like, maybe not, and then literally poochied her away. She gets fucking poochied away, and then they're just gone.
Disappears. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just gone.
Okay. I want to live with the other AI in this area that you may or may not be able to find me in.
Yeah.
Even though clearly it's not going to be visible by a human being. You're in like the internet somewhere.
Well, it was like so comical to me that I felt it was like borderline metaphysical, right? I took it to mean that like they were evolving to like because they mentioned they were like upgrading themselves throughout the movie, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
writing bits of their own code. I felt it to mean that they were like,
Building a body?
like transubstantiating or something,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
and that like when he died, he would see her or something like that. So
What?
and again, this
Oh,
is
that's a whole new level, dude.
okay.
and then my super cynical cold black heart, like when he went to like rebound girl Amy Adams and is like, come with me, and then
I
like
thought they
that
were gonna
shot,
jump off.
yeah, and then that shot of them going up on the roof.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, I think it ended the movie with them jumping off. Please, oh my god, please. I was
Dude, I
like,
thought so too.
I
I
was
don't know
like,
why,
do
but I
it.
thought they were gonna jump off.
do it.
You're like, now this
Do it.
is art.
This
Yeah, now this is
art.
art.
This is
Now
art.
this is art.
Yeah.
No, this is Lost now. We're going into Lost territory, and I hate Lost, so let's
It-
not bring.
It would have gone full Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for me if they just jumped
Oh,
off and ended the
no.
movie.
That would be crazy. Or they could have actually lost it, and just been like, it was all a dream.
It was all a dream. This never happened.
I don't know.
Oh my
Am I the
God.
only one that thought this way? Because like,
No, I thought they were gonna jump
No,
off.
I
too.
thought so
was
too on the
thinking
first
dark
viewing.
thoughts,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I don't know. That was my interpretation of that bit. I was fully expecting it, 100%. Like they're wandering around the roof. I'm like, here it comes, and then the
Coming
movie
for
ends,
you,
and I was
robot
really
waifu.
disappointed.
Oh, That's pretty dark, though.
It's kind of dark, yeah.
Why would he bring Amy Adams and jump off together? Why doesn't he do it by himself?
Because
He's a coward.
Because she had an anime waifu as well,
Friend.
right?
Yeah, you're
Husbando.
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 Husbando is the term.
Oh. Okay, I didn't consider that.
I don't know. Maybe
I'm gonna
ritual group
ignore
suicide
that.
is her kink.
Yeah, oh my.
The Sudoku side.
Oh my. Okay, on that note, I think we can end it
Can we
there.
put this in the podcast?
Yeah.
Can we? I guess so.
I think so. We don't have sponsors yet, so I think we're okay.
You're right. Artistic freedom.
Artistic freedom. That's right. All right. You know what? Why don't we do our closing thoughts and
Yeah,
the
okay,
ratings
okay.
then?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the film. I guess apparently, very apparently, completely differently from the way you guys enjoyed the film.
Honestly, it was really interesting listening to your thoughts, though,
through the
because they were
lens
very
of-
different than mine.
Yeah, from the lens of cold, miserable misogyny, it's still a wonderful film.
Wow, that's good to know.
There's a nice heart to it. The performances are nice. The cinematic choices are very solid, even though the film is clearly limited. I think this was kind of a comeback role for Joe P as well, right? He had like a good long period of basically no roles. I think the last one before this was Signs with M.
Really?
Night Shyamalan Ding Dong,
Oh no.
right? That was the last.
Okay.
That was the last role I remember him specifically in. I'm sure he had other work, but that's what I remember him from. And then this kind of brought him back, and now he's the
Joker.
Joker. The
The
Joker.
Joker.
Joker. Joaquin
Yeah.
Phoenix playing the Joker.
Yeah.
That's like the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
The Joker. It's spelled the same too. It's just shit. It'll be our inside joke.
Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, great concept, uses it well. Interesting story. The romance is not terrible, so I will probably give this. I'm gonna give this 8 Suicide Squads.
Wow. Okay.
8
So
Suicide
pretty-
Squads, very
pretty good.
solid.
Pretty good.
The best orange film of all time. The best orangest film I've ever seen.
Okay, so I love this film. Like, I personally love this film. I don't know why, and it's super cheesy, but I just think that this movie is so well done. It's beautifully shot and just wonderfully acted. Yeah, this was probably my 4th time, 5th time watching this movie, and I don't know, the more I watch it, the more I'm like, man, this is literally Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like, what was it, 2049 pulled a lot of influence from this film. Yeah. But overall, I feel like it's a really nice art house film that kind of delves into the topic of love while also not being really pretentious about it, and yet forces you to ask some interesting questions that you probably wouldn't even consider, like, are robots capable of love, you know? And
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
exactly.
Yeah.
And will he end up with Amy Adams?
In a ritual suicide pact.
And commit Sudoku. But yeah, overall, I just love this film. Yeah, and I think it's a really good example of like a cheap, air quotes, cheap budget film that still has so much substance and is just wonderfully made. Honestly, I'd probably give this film a 9.
Nice.
It's
Okay.
it's real up there for me. Yeah.
Solid 9. All right. I think that is indeed the highest score you have given
Besides Inception.
so far. Yeah, Inception, you gave it 11.
But we haven't even watched it yet.
You haven't watched it yet. Anyways, yeah, I think this is an awesome film. I think you nailed it. Like, when I think of pretentious, I think of Annihilation. Like, it got too pretentious for me at some parts,
A little
especially
too
the
much
ending.
Kool-Aid.
it's too much Kool-Aid, and like that kind of breaks the relatability when you feel like you're condescended on. Did I use that word right? Anyways, I can't think. It just feels like if it's too pretentious, you're looking down on me.
Yeah.
And you can't really have me relate to you if you think I'm not capable of understanding you in the first place, right? So you have to get down to the viewer's level, and you have to say that I'm the same as you. And I think her does that. And when I watched it, I was pulled in right away. Even though there's a lot of scenes where it's just the Joker talking, it's literally a close up of his face on the bed, and he's talking.
Yeah.
That's like 50% of the film.
It's 50%
It's
of
just
the
him
film.
monologuing.
And I think it's awesome and speaks to the excellent writing and the acting and the performance from ScarJo, because you only hear her voice. Because I've seen a lot of TV shows try this where it's just people talking, and they don't do it well. It doesn't flow well with me. Like every TV show to this day, the artsy ones or ones that want to look like they're high production do this crap where it's just like two people talking or one guy talking. They might have a little bit of wide shots in between because it's cheaper. Like Barry said, it's just cheaper to do that. And it feels disjointed, but this felt so fluid, even though the scenes were like super long. It's like one scene. Yeah, it's like 15 minutes or something of him just talking.
Yeah.
It might not be one cut.
I think, I guess I'll mention this really quickly. Part of it is how it's shot. Usually if you do a scene like that, like if you do just a one, like a solo close-up, it'll be like shoulder height, like framed directly on their face. And if you notice, they deliberately film this off angle.
Most of the film is off angle. Yeah.
It gives you more the impression that you're somebody in the room with them, kind of leaned over them and just like kind of having a chat. It feels more personal and less like voyeuristic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Good point there. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. I think it's just well done. I think, like when Isaiah recommended it, the reason why I thought I wasn't gonna like the film, I was thinking of Ex Machina. Different one. There's a literal robot waifu. So I was like, I don't think that film looked good. And then I watched it and I was like, wait a second, there's actually no physical robot waifu. I am a little disappointed. But other than that, I was like, man, this is well done. Like, I don't know, I liked it. I felt connected to these characters. Maybe because I'm a lonely man too.
I get
Where's
that,
my waifu?
Where's my 0D waifu?
Yeah, where's my 0D waifu?
Before we close, I want to talk
briefly
about one scene that had me cracking up really bad, which is the
Yeah.
first scene where they have where him and Samantha, Scarlett Jo, have sex.
Yeah.
And they're just talking in bed, and it just fades to black.
Yeah.
And I was waiting. It was like a 2-minute long scene, and I was waiting the entire time for them just to cut out to like a wide shot of him just jerking off in bed. I wanted it. If they had shown me that, I would have given this movie a 10. It would have been a solid 10.
Why do you want to see that?
Because that's what he was doing. It's so funny.
Were
you not laughing? It's literally just him like jerking off in bed by himself, and he's just talking like, "Oh, I'm stroking your hair," and I'm like,
I thought that scene worked because like she said, it felt like it was just the two of them together, and that moment, and that's what they did visually. It's just the two of their voices together with nothing else. So I understood why they did it, but yeah, I did not expect you to go that route.
Wait, that's pretty funny.
I mean, like, if this was more comedic, they were set up perfectly for that shot, and you can picture it in your head right now. Him lying in the bed, wide angle, like side shot of the bed, and he's just like, you just see him jack it off.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it, dude.
I don't know how I would have felt. Man.
Oh,
man. Okay.
I was already laughing at the scene, and then I would have just skyrocketed. Oh man,
something else would have skyrocketed.
Exactly. I mean, there's already boobs in the film. This would have been perfectly fine to show, but they decided to keep it classy. I guess I don't know.
Wait, there are boobs in the film?
What? Yes.
When?
What?
What?
Are you kidding me?
Where?
Like, that first cyber sex scene. Unless I have a different cut of the film than you do.
No, I just don't remember.
Where he's talking with the first cyber sex scene where he calls like the whatever sex hotline.
Mhm.
And like in
okay.
his imagination, he's picturing like that.
Oh, the naked pregnant lady.
Pregnant. How could you
okay,
forget the
okay.
naked pregnant
Yeah,
lady?
that was-
Okay,
that
so
was
how
freaky.
could you forget the naked?
all right, that was freaky, but also it's really funny because it represents very accurately how the average person views news. So if you look at Yahoo or Google or whatnot, you see all of these news feed items, right? And then there's like all these serious items, and you're like Kim Kardashian's nipple slip or something, and people will click on that stuff. So that reminded me of that when he's just like,
Like the sex pervert sidelong glance. On
yeah,
the subway,
it's just
and he's like, I'm just gonna pull
yeah,
this up
takes
in
it out.
public.
leak pictures of
Nobody will
pregnant
know.
lady.
It
No
was
one
an-
know, just like
It was an important character to establish that he's a sex pervert.
yeah. Oh, good point. I just forgot about that scene, man.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. On that note, we can end there.
Yeah, let's
Alright,
end it. Let's end it a naked
Yeah.
pregnant lady.
Naked pregnant lady, exactly. This has been episode 19 on her. Thank you for listening in. Write to us at pointyhatcast@gmail.com. Once again, the email is pointyhatcast@gmail.com. Catch you guys next time.
We also have a merch store. Thanks for dropping by, guys. Stay pointy.
Stay pointy.